California's Gold is produced in association with KCET Los Angeles and is seen statewide on California Public Television. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association. It's located in one of the most beautiful parts of our state, about 220 miles northeast of Los Angeles in the Owens Valley, right in the shadow of the Eastern Sierra. If you're going up and down Highway 395, you'd miss this place unless you knew what you were looking for. And yet, this place is one of the most historically significant sites anywhere in California. It also represents one of the saddest chapters in our nation's and our state's history, because this is the former site of the Manzanar Relocation Center. This is where during World War II they brought over 10,000 people, loyal citizens of Japanese American ancestry, and kept them here behind barbed wire for the duration of the war. Well, the camp is long gone now. There's nothing really left here except memories. But you know, history has a funny way of playing tricks on you, because even though most of the structures, all of the structures are gone now, we have found something that has been hidden away here for well over 50 years now. And even though it's connected directly with Manzanar, which is a very sad part of our state's history, what we have found is very much a part of California's gold. Well, I'm standing here with Sue Embry, and Sue, you lived here in Manzanar for about a year and a half during World War II. For those people who are not familiar with Manzanar, tell us what this place was.
All right, 60 years ago on February 19th, 1942, President Roosevelt signed an executive order which evicted 120,000 people from the West Coast during World War II.
Of Japanese American descent.
Right. And we were here from about, it opened around March of 42, and they built barracks, 36 blocks of them, and 10,000 people were brought here from various parts of Southern California.
There were camps all over the West, but yes, this camp was basically for Southern Californians.
Right, and it was the first one built. And it was still in what they were called the military area number 1, so which meant that we were restricted to 1 mile square. There was a barbed wire fence around us and guard towers with sentries and loaded machine guns.
Now, all of this area here would have been part of Manzanar Relocation Center.
Right. This was the administration area where the War Relocation Authority administration staff lived and worked in the offices. And the rest of it from there on to the rest a mile square were what we call the residential area with barracks.
And this was literally home for 10,000 people for all those years during World War II.
Right. It was open for about 3 years. It did not close till November of 1945, after the war was over. Wow. People were sent out to relocate back to their own homes or back east or wherever they wanted to go.
Well, we have said in the opening of the program that this obviously is a very sad chapter in California and in American history, but it is an important chapter for everyone to know about and to remember, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it is now a National Historic Site under the jurisdiction of the National Park Service, and they are going to preserve it and open it up for visitors to come.
Well, now, of course, your memories are still very vivid, along with those of thousands of other people, but there have been some other ways of remembering Manzanar. We're going to go over, come on over with me, because this fellow right over here has got some wonderful memories. He's holding them really right there in this box right here. Archie, introduce yourself to everybody.
Yes, my name is Archie Miyatake. My father was Toyo Miyatake. He was a photographer. And this is my wife here, Take.
Nice to meet you. Your father was a photographer before World War II, and then when you all were brought here to this camp, he remained a photographer. The problem was the law said that people who were here couldn't take pictures.
No, we were forbidden to. In fact, camera was considered contraband, so we all turned my camera, at least my camera, I turned it into a police department, and that was the end of that. And
well, how did he get this camera?
Well, you know, he snuck in a lens and a film holder, and then after he got into camp, he found a carpenter and had a carpenter make this box for him.
So he made a camera.
So yes, so this is the real box camera, you know.
And how did he manage to take pictures if it was against the law?
Well, he would get up early in the morning when there's nobody around, so some of the early photographs that he took didn't have any people in it. And during the lunchtime or mealtime, when everybody's in the mess hall eating, he would go outside and take photographs.
But didn't he, after a while, kind of convince the superintendent here that it was all right for him to be taking pictures?
Yes, Mr. Ralph Merrick, who was a camp director, and he told my father, you know, Toyo, I can't see anything on the left side of me. So my father caught on right away. He knew what he meant. So he started taking photographs by himself.
And he photographed every aspect of life here. And there was a lot of life here. This was a very vibrant community.
Yes, and you know, there were many activities and things like that. They had an auditorium where they had little programs and things. And also, the main reason why he wanted to record all this camp life was because he told me, he says, you know, this kind of thing should never happen again. So it's my responsibility to record it. And
how many photographs do you figure your dad took?
Well, altogether about 15,000. There are 10 to 15,000 negative, and then there are about 1,000 which are really documentary type.
Wow. So he was, boy, he liked to take pictures, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. He wouldn't let a day get by without a camera, you know.
Isn't it wonderful that he did this?
It was wonderful. He kept us a record so that we could pass it on to further generations, and especially the American public.
Does the camera still work?
Yes,
So it is still an operating camera?
Yes, I have a film. See, there's a ground glass here, and you focus through this.
Look at this. Wow.
And then, in order to focus, they devised a drain pipe. It's a 2-inch drain pipe, and then you just unscrew this in and out to focus.
Whoa, that is amazing. That's what you call ingenuity. Your dad's name was?
Toyo Miyatake.
And you are carrying on his tradition. You are a photographer today.
Yes, I am retired now, so my son has taken over.
Third generation.
It's third generation now.
Well, this is wonderful, but as wonderful as these pictures are, and as great a part of history as they are for all of us to see and enjoy, and thank goodness for this old box camera, we are here to find something that has been really hidden very deeply out here until just recently. And that is what this adventure is really all about. We are going in search of some previously hidden Manzanar history. Now we're picking up the other part of the story with Mike Hively, who is a professor at Cal State Bakersfield. You're a photographer, you're an artist, and you came to us with some very interesting information. Give us the background.
Well, I spent part of my youth in Japan right after the war with my father, and I started coming up in this area fishing about in the mid-'80s, and then started taking photographs. And
here at Manzanar.
Here at Manzanar, that's correct. And over the past 12-15 years, I've photographed much of the artifacts here, and especially the signatures of the people who built this place.
The signatures, what do you mean by that?
Much of this was built by the inmates at the time, and when they built it, they wrote their name in the foundations and in the reservoirs and the sluice ducts out here. So I started photographing their names. It's an extraordinary thing, the energy that's still here after all that time.
By finding the names of the people who were actually here, written kind of like graffiti.
Yep.
In the wet concrete.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, now where are we going? Where's the first stop?
This traffic circle over here.
Okay, so we're going right over here because what we have done is we have matched up some of the names that are written in concrete with people who are still alive and who have not seen these names, have not come back here to revisit this place since the war.
That's true. That's true.
All right, now here's our first guy right here. Yeah. Introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Goro Kurihara.
And you've got one of the names here.
Yeah, I guess so. It must be around there somewhere.
Now, what would your name be doing here in the concrete?
Well, I worked here as a landscaper, see? And we were landscaping the administration building here.
And what made you decide that you thought you ought to put your name in the wet cement?
I don't know. I wasn't supposed to do it, I don't think.
That's why you did it.
Yeah. That's what you call it. Cement graffiti. That's what it is.
So where would it be? Who knows where to go look for it?
Right in front of you where the rock is.
Right here?
The rock right there. Put the rock on top of it.
Oh, the little rock. The little rock right there.
Where? That's it, right there.
Oh, yeah. That's it, yeah.
Gordo.
Yeah.
Come here and look at it. You're the one who said your wife, you said he couldn't write very well.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I guess so.
Look at that.
Yeah, right here.
Wow.
Kurihara, Glendale.
Yeah,
So you put your
right.
full name, Gordo,
Kurihara.
Glendale, California. What does that date say? 1942.
Something 42, isn't it?
1940,
It's
yeah, I guess so.
almost totally gone, which is kind of poignant in its own way, isn't it?
Well, some of the concrete is weathered better than other parts. Goro's signature is almost gone. Almost gone.
Sue, did you know about this? You've been here for so long. You're kind of the
didn't.
head of this whole committee that is responsible for people remembering Manzanar.
Right, but I don't remember this part of it. Work crews work separately. I worked on the Manzanar Free Press. I was a reporter. And although I did get around, I didn't get this far over to the administration.
So while you were working on the newspaper, which was an official part of what happened here at Manzanar, there were guys going around here writing graffiti and writing their names in concrete.
And building things up to make this place a better place to live.
And leaving their mark.
Their mark on the cement, which I think is great.
Now this is very interesting because this is your dad's graffiti here.
Yeah.
Had you ever seen this before?
No, I didn't.
And
Never.
how do you feel seeing this and knowing that he put this here 60 years ago?
It was a lot of work. A lot of work. I don't know how I feel. I guess it must have been pretty tough, but he came through it all right.
Yeah.
You know, he definitely did.
Had you ever been here before?
Yeah, we used to pass by here all the time.
But you'd never seen the
No.
name in the concrete. In fact, he
No.
didn't even really know where it was for sure, did he?
No, he didn't.
You kind of found it for him today.
Actually, he found it. He told me that it was at the traffic circle. So we came over and walked all the way around the traffic circle, and this was the last section that we looked at. And I didn't see it because it was so faint, but he found it.
Yeah.
And he also
You found it.
He
Yeah.
did. Yeah. He found his father's graffiti, and he recognizes this name too. Here.
This right here. That's
What is this?
That's Okamura. That's a friend of mine. That's his dad. His dad probably put that there because him and his dad, my dad, were friends here.
Okay, as everybody walks off to our next location, Archie and I have stood back here, stayed back here behind because, Archie, this was known as the traffic circle.
Yes, and the administration building was right behind us.
And your dad took a picture with this little box camera of this circle the way it was during the war.
Yes.
So thanks to him and his ingenuity with this little camera, we can flash back in time to what this exact spot was like 60 years ago. You're also wearing something that's very historic that we need to talk about.
This is the peacoat that they issued to us, and this is what I wore. Well, most everybody wore because it was so cold here, and as you can see, it was much too large for me. I just have it folded in.
Wow.
I never had it altered.
But it's in great condition.
Yes.
And it probably was much needed up here in the wintertime.
Oh, yes. Well, it was very cold.
Well, let's get the camera and move out of the way and get a shot of this traffic circle as it is today, originally photographed by your dad 60 years ago. Okay, everybody, let's go. We've come a couple of miles. And Jiro, this is your area of expertise. You were here during the war and built this. What is this?
This is a reservoir where we got our drinking water out of the Shepherd's Creek. And there's a creek that used to run down here. This is the south branch. There's another branch, the north branch on the other side, about another half a mile.
So,
and then we got the water used to come down through here on this, and we used to have a screen up there where you catch debris that was coming down the creek.
So you actually built this whole reservoir. The workers did.
The main part was already built, but we had to get more water, so they put extension on those rocks on top, so it hold 1 million gallons of water.
Bill, you're from the local museum here. This is an amazing piece of history here.
It's a great site still here. When they initially built it, as you said, it was only 750,000 gallons. That wasn't big enough. Then they used the crews from camp, from Manzanar, to raise the walls around the edge of the reservoir so it would go up to the 1 million gallon capacity.
So you got all of your water through this reservoir system.
Right. Yes, most of it. We had a well pump down the other side of the highway. Now we used for emergency purpose only. And or when the water went down low, we had to have more water pressure. They just start that up over there.
And the reason we've hiked to the reservoir is we're looking for your name. You wrote your name in here when you built it, didn't you?
Yes, I guess so. I see my name up there.
Where is it?
It's right up here.
Right over here?
Yeah, right over there.
Well, let's go look at it.
Oh, I better get up on top. Huh?
Is it down here?
Yeah, it was right up here.
Let's go look.
I thought it was over there.
Well, we found the name. Here it is, written on the, what is that, the 10/24/43.
It was later on it was built. It wasn't at the beginning part. And the water used to come down the Shepherd's Creek here. And we had 2 screens right there to catch all the debris that was coming down the creek. And water used to run down into the sand trap where the sand was settled at the bottom. And the water that was clean would run down that trough there.
Y'all be careful coming around here. It's kind of rough, but it's worth seeing it. Do you remember putting your name in there?
I don't remember putting it there. I know we're doing a lot of work here, so I don't remember. Yeah, I can tell it, see that it's my name.
That's your handwriting.
Yeah.
So what do you think motivated you to do that?
Well, we were doing a lot of work here. We just want to just put it down. We just put a date on it when it was worked on.
Come on, Sue, and take a look at this. Boy, it's kind of rough back here. This is what you call a hidden bit of history.
Oh my goodness.
There's his name.
Wow.
10/24/43.
It was built in,
You know, this is one of those, you really have to be looking for this to find it.
You have to know it's here to find it, that's true. But there's quite a few names as it goes up to the north.
Yeah, there was a lot of graffiti around here.
Been my crew, the rest of the crew, if I look at it and I see the name, maybe I recognize it, I don't know.
Boy, they're everywhere. Lots of graffiti here. But there's your name right there. It's been there 60 years.
Yeah.
So Archie, your father photographed everything. We've got some pictures of the reservoir here.
Yeah, you just couldn't keep the camera away from him.
And he's got a picture, Jiro, of you and the reservoir crew standing here by your completed work.
Yes, that's right.
So you all were really proud of this thing.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. This is the main reservoir right here. This is what held all the water. And you've got pictures, your dad took pictures of kids actually swimming in here, Archie.
Yeah, I know.
Did you ever swim in it?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever swim in it?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
It's too cold.
Did you ever swim in it?
No, I never did.
No.
They said the water was too cold.
Well, somebody swam in it. You fished in it.
Not in here. I fished in the creek.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I went up fishing in the creek too.
But this is the reservoir right here, and somebody swam in it at one time because it's been documented by your dad. And the old reservoir is still here. It's empty, but again, it looks like it could hold water if you put some in there.
Oh yes, I think so. I don't see why not.
So what does it feel like seeing these pictures and seeing your name in the concrete?
I don't know what to say. It's kind of surprising after 60 years.
So you didn't know your name was here?
I didn't know it. I really didn't until you called me.
You had forgotten all about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, what kind of memories do these pictures and seeing the name and your name, what does this all bring back to you?
It's something that I went through. I never want to go back again doing the same thing. And I used to be on this job 24 hours a day on emergency call. And the worst time was during winter time when it was cold and the creek would freeze, would run out of water. When the water coming into the reservoir, we use about 3 million gallons of water on average a day. So we had to use I'd run down below and get the well pump going to back it up so we have enough water.
So this brings back a lot of memories.
Oh yes. It sure does.
Do you ever wonder about all the other people in this picture? What happened to all of them?
I think a lot of them passed away, I think. Because when I came, I was 21 years old when I came up here as a volunteer.
Okay, we're ending up at what they call the chicken ranch. And Gimp, what was this all about?
Well, they told me they'd found my name, Gimp Izumi, and they'd been trying to locate me.
Uh-huh.
And I told them, well, there's only one Gimp Izumi, and that's me.
And you worked here during the war?
I worked in all kinds of jobs, but I think I was working on the farm at the time I put the name here.
And what was the chicken ranch all about?
Well, the chicken was here. I don't know. I was just, I really can't say. But they had to raise a chicken because there were 10,000 people to feed, and you give 1 egg per person. That's 10,000 eggs a day.
So all of this was chicken. These were all
Right
chickens right here.
Right, chicken sheds.
And here's your name right here.
That sure looks like my writing, too.
Look at it. That's it.
Yep. December 22nd.
1943.
1943.
And now wait a minute. Here's another one over here. You signed it.
Well, that's my writing.
You signed it again.
Right. I wanted to make sure.
You're the only one so far that signed his name twice in graffiti. All right, we're getting ready to end up. I want to get our 3 graffiti guys over here. Come on over here. We're going to put you right over here. Mike, you have a presentation to make to these 3 guys. Come on, let's get them all lined up right here. What have you got here, Mike?
I've got some prints that I made from the inscription signatures that they wrote. And this is for Jiro. Jiro?
Yes.
And this is the artwork that started all of this, the photographs you took originally.
That's right. And Gimp, this one is yours. That's you.
And we're missing one.
And I will get his. I haven't been able to find him to this point, but now that I know where you're at, and I'll do one for you too.
And you were telling me that this has been quite an experience for you today.
I'm struck by the poetry of all of this. It's one thing to take pictures of things that people have written in concrete, and it's quite another to actually meet you. And it's been an honor to actually meet you. Thank you.
Wow, it's been an honor for all of us. Thank you all for this wonderful day here. Thanks for bringing us here, Sue, and everybody else, all the park staff. This has been an absolutely wonderful experience to come back here to Manzanar. which in so many ways has been forgotten except in people's memories. And to have all of this come back to us, all these memories come back to us, thanks to the photography of Archie's dad made with that little box camera of his, and to the graffiti left behind by the men and women who worked here and lived here, 3 of whom we met today. Now, Mike, you step out of the picture here. Okay. You fellas stay right there. Come here, I've got a place to put you right here because we've predetermined you're right here. Come right over here. Right here. Because we're going to take your picture. And what we're going to do, we're going to take your picture with the original camera that Archie's dad used to photograph this camp back in the 1940s. Yeah, right. So this picture, this whole adventure today, this whole remembrance, bringing back things that we should never forget as a country, that this happened. But this photograph that you're getting ready to take right here today is very much a part of California's gold. Thank you all very much. Now, Archie, we're going to stand back and watch you do your work just like your dad did.
Make sure they're all in there.
I'll show you on it. Yeah. Typical Japanese sauce.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. That's good. Okay, thank you.